project focuses on how youth resistance training recommendations have changed from the early 2000s till today. We chose this topic because resistance training for youth athletes is still surrounded by outdated beliefs, especially concerns about growth plates, hormones, and whether strength training is even appropriate before puberty. As future exercise science professionals, we wanted to understand what the research actually shows and how these guidelines have evolved. Our goal was to compare early recommendations with modern evidence and highlight why resistance training is now considered essential for long-term athletic development. We also wanted to understand how these changes influence the way we'll work with youth athletes in the future.
This topic, we conducted a structured literature review using a variety of sites like PubMed, Google Scholar, and position statements from organizations like the NSCA, CSCP, the AAP, and the NASM. We focused our studies on involving youth ages 10 to 18 years old and looked at research on safety, performance outcomes, neuromuscular adaptations, and psychological effects. The early 2000s literature was extremely cautious towards youth resistance training. Many guidelines limited youth training to machines, light loads, and high repetitions because people believe kids weren't hormonally ready for strength gains. The growth plate injuries were a major concern, even though the evidence for that risk was very limited. Psychological benefits were barely discussed at the time. Modern research shows the opposite. Supervised resistance training has lower injury rates than many youth sports and can reduce sports-related injuries by up to half. Strength gains in kids come mostly from neural adaptations, things like improved coordination and more unit recruitment, not hormones. We also found strong evidence that resistance training improves confidence, body image, long-term motivation, and the motivation to stay active throughout the lifetime. And current long-term athletic development models recommend introducing strength, power, and movement training early and to not delay it.
So overall, the evidence is clear. We're moving away from fear-based rules and toward recommendations backed by science. Today, we know that resistance training is a foundation. It helps with physical literacy, injury prevention, and building better athletes. For us as exercise science students, this is a big shift. It changes how we work with the youth. So instead of avoiding weights or holding back, we focus on the right things. We prioritize supervision, good technique, and steady progress. This is about teaching movement early. It's about building confidence in the weight room. In our future careers, we're going to be able to use this. We can design programs that are safe and appropriate for each person. This is going to help build strength, coordination, and healthy habits for their life. So going forward, more research will help. We need to learn more about the best training volumes for different ages. We also need to see how the mental benefits help people stay active long term. Thank you for your time.